Okay, hey, hi, hello, we're recording. And then I also want to apologize. Rob is still sleeping. Rylan was up all night, so I have Rylan swinging his little life away over there in the corner. So if he starts to cry, do not mind me. I'm gonna do the whole mom thing and this at the same time. So I want to, obviously, we're going to do our IPAs, but I also want to talk about, like I said, this sale that's going on for customers. So it is November 15th. So if you are not watching this now, then this sale is probably not going on. It's through November 15th through November 21st of 2019, just because I am recording this and it's going to go on the team page. And I don't want anybody new to hop on, watch this, and think that this sale is going on if it is not during November 15th through November 21st of 2019. Okay. So, first thing that I want us all to do is hopefully we all have done our self-development already. That's why we're all on social media or on our phones. For me, I personally do that before I even check my phone because I cannot pour into other people if I have not filled my own cup. So, if you haven't done that, I really, really suggest, since this is going to be recorded, that you hop off of this and go into your self-development. I know that sounds weird for me to say, but self-development is so dang important. You cannot work your business if you are depleted. So self-development first and foremost. And then also I hope that we all picked a why for today. That is also super, super, super important to me, because if you are not working with a purpose for your day, let alone a bigger why can be very overwhelming for us. But if you are not working with a smaller purpose, I don't like to say small because there is no such thing as small goals, but a more like targeted one for the day. Like me today is, it's freezing outside and I want to be able to help more moms stay home underneath blankets with their little ones. So that is my why today. So if you have your why today, can you go ahead and throw it in the chat option? That would be amazing. So we can all kind of cheer each other on and know what our whys are for the next 30 minutes to an hour. Next, what I want you to do is get something up on your story, your Instagram story of your 3 steps. So if you've only done your capsules and sculpt, then post that. If you've done step 1, step 2, or step 3, then post that. So we're going to take about 5 minutes and do that. Again, if you don't have, and if you're new to my IPAs, my biggest tip is going to be, stockpile your own pictures. I have an album, and I say this every single time I do a training or I go live. I have an album in my phone that says products, and it's literally just my own pictures from probably like a year ago of my 3 steps. Any single time I take a picture, I save it and I put it into that album. So it's not always the same picture up on my story. But like today, I totally didn't get to snap a picture of my 3 steps because, again, Rylan was not sleeping. So I pulled one that had my capsules and my sculpt on my hand already that I could use. And I posted that this morning. So go ahead and get your picture up. And if you're taking a new one, go ahead and start that album. And then later on, you can organize that album. So let's go ahead and take like maybe 3 more minutes. Mine was already up, so I decided to talk to y'all during it. But go ahead and take 3 or 4 more minutes to get your picture up there. My favorite thing to do with my product pictures is say why I'm using it. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is Lindsay Reed with a double Y in Lindsay, if you want to look at my story. But my picture today talked about, it said morning lineup, and then it says Capsies, no coffee needed for 23 months and counting with a flame emoji, and then sculpt, waist diminisher, and mental clarity for days. And then I put that at 66 degrees because that's freezing here in Florida. And that was what I did for my story of my products. You can keep it short, sweet, and cute. And still make it so it's you instead of just a straight stock picture. Being you and showing your little bit of your personality and why you use the products. Like clearly I use my capsules because it's a coffee replacement for 23 months. Stuff like that goes into people's head instead of just always saying there are 12 B vitamin, stuff like that all in all the products, which is great to do. But if you are trying to switch it up, saying why you use it is also amazing. Okay, so we should all have a picture up of our steps on our Instagram. Go ahead and also put it on your Facebook. Whatever you do on your Instagram story, you're going to want to put on your Facebook story. Two birds, one stone. That's the way I feel about it. You don't have to do two separate things on both platforms. You just got to transfer it over. So go ahead and now put that on your Facebook story. The next thing I want everybody to do is take a picture of this Zoom right now and put it on your story. It's showing community. It's showing that we are working together, and it's showing all people that we aren't in this alone. So when people join teams, they join because they want a community. They want to know that they have a place to go. So go ahead, snap a picture. Again, put it on your Instagram, put it on your Facebook. Everybody smile. There we go. We all got our pictures? Okay, go ahead and put that on your Instagram and your Facebook. Again, you're teaching people that this is a community. We're a tribe. We're in this together. The more that they see you on trainings, the more that they see that you have things to pour into you, the more people are like, wow, they really are learning from other people. They're really a community. They're really all together. That speaks volume in this industry, because this industry has the stigma that that's not how it is. But our team sets that apart. Shout that from the rooftops. Okay? All right, so next, let me pull up my list. Sorry, because I have mom squirrel brain is what I'm now calling it. Okay, scroll to the top, IPAs. Products and stories. Sorry, y'all, horse dog life. Hey, you're gonna wake the baby. Hush. Xander, enough. Come lay down. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so hopefully I didn't just set off anyone else's dogs. If so, Xander says hi. Okay, next, what I want to do is follow on Instagram. So I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to do this with you guys. I go to the Explore page or to a picture that I really, really like, and I go through and I see who liked their picture, and if I relate to their profile, I follow them. That's the best way to gain followers, is if you relate to them, because then you're going to want to interact with them and you're going to have value to add and actually intentionally interact instead of just pulling stuff out of your butt. When you pull stuff out of your butt to talk to people, it runs dry, right? Because you're like, well, I already said XYZ. I already told them they were cute. I already told them they were pretty. They had a great smile. They could do what we do. We don't do that over here. We do it with value and intentionally, and that's how you're able to do that, is when you actually relate to what that profile shows and what they are. So go ahead and start following. We're going to do this for probably like 7 to 10 minutes, just because you can do it throughout the day. I don't do all of mine at once. It's the quickest way to get blocked is if you do all of these interactions at once. So that's why we break it up and I do it small. So let's do it till about like 10, 15-ish, somewhere around there. I might stop it early, but start following and finding new faces to interact with. I'm going to mute myself, so if anybody has a question or wants to know anything, go ahead and unmute yourself, because otherwise I won't hear you. Okay, happy following.
I have a question. When you're following people, do you follow people whose pages are public or private or both?
I do both. I don't discriminate against private versus public, just because a lot of people There are certain companies that teach you to keep your page private. For me, I don't do that, and I don't suggest that just because I really don't have anything to hide, and I scream my branding fives from the rooftop on my pictures, so I like people to connect to me that way. But sometimes people want to be more private. Not everyone's like me, which is perfect. So I follow both. But I know it's a little bit harder to see like who you relate to when they're private. So I follow them. And then if I don't relate to them at all, I just simply unfollow them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then do you only search hashtags? Like I'm really into cooking and stuff. So you search by what people like on that picture, not like the comments, or do you do both?
I do both. So what I do, because to me, it's like, I'll look at people who like, I look at people who comment, just because social media is for networking. If anybody says like, it's not, that's what it's there for, right? Network marketing, we're into networking. So social media is for networking. So to me, I like to look at all followers, comments, stuff like that. That's why I use my explore page, because there are so many. Like I could go to a picture with like 900 comments and 2,000 followers or likes on it. And I'm like, this is a gold mine, right? Because I can go and I can look through them and find people that I relate to. I'm not mass following. Let me add that in there. I am not just going down and following people to follow them. I am in like actually looking at their profiles and making sure that it's something that I can relate to. Or a lot of times if they're in the same past gig as me, we have the same kind of like views, and I like to follow them just to see how they're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily following people so they join me or they buy my products. I'm actually following them to build relationships and network with people. So when you flip the script to change it to actually wanting those interactions, instead of it being business based and it's more of like you based, that's when those like authentically and intentionally start to come in.
So more like adding friends, like trying to gain.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how to unmute myself. Hang on.
You're fine. I got you, girl. Does that make sense though?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Perfect. Go ahead for like 2 more minutes, finish up following, and then we're going to move on and go from there.
I wanted to add something really quick too to the Instagram following. I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
Okay. So I don't know if your guys' spouses are really into Instagram, but like I know my husband, because he does truck shows, is, and so I'll go to his following and I'll add the guys as like wives and girlfriends who are into the same stuff we are and not the husbands. But so like that helps broaden it too. So if like your spouse also does it and you're trying to find people who like the same thing you do, I would try it that way too. Cause I've actually met a lot of the people that I end up following, like their wives and girlfriends and stuff. So you just never know. I wouldn't like not try, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. I have to get the baby. Okay, so go ahead and finish following what you're doing right now. Go ahead and finish that, and then we're gonna go into our potentials list. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go to our potentials list. Now, if you don't have a potentials list, this is what is huge for me, especially because it's Friday and I do my follow-ups on Friday. My follow-ups are different because yes, I follow up throughout the week within my interactions. That's part of my follow-ups. But Fridays, I go a little bit more, especially because we have this amazing deal going on right now, again, through November 21st. If you're watching this and you're not here right now and it's on a different week or a different month, this deal is probably still not going on. It's okay, Bubba. Sorry, y'all. So go ahead and create a potentials list if you don't have one. If you do have one, use it. go through and interact on your potentials post. Go through and interact on their stories. Go through and let them know. When these promos are going on and it's a Friday, I go ahead and I literally I message my potentials because we're already friends, right? If they're your potentials and you've already had a connection with them, they've already said that they're interested. And if they're customers, if they're my potential customers, I reach out to them and let them know about the Sculpt deal. I don't have a script, so please don't ask me what I say because everybody is different. It's really based on the conversation I've had with them. But it's okay, Bubba. I know, I'm sorry. But I go and I will message them. So on your potentials list, if you don't have a potentials list, start one today. Mine is literally in the notes of my phone. And it just says potentials, and then I go by month. So I started my potentials list, I want to say like March or May. It was one of the M months. So one of those two. And every single month I make a new one, and I put if it's their Instagram name or if it's just their name, then it's on Facebook. And then I go and I reach out and I put if they're a customer next to it. So that way you can even probably be a little bit more organized than me and have a potentials list based on promoters or a potentials list based on customers, and reach out to them. Go ahead and interact right now with your potentials, meaning go to their pages and comment on any pictures that you haven't. Add value to it. Comment on their stories and stuff like that if you haven't in a while, because it'll bring you back to them viewing you. And you have a lot to say. He says yes. Go interact with potentials. And then also, if they are customers, reach out to them and let them know about this Sculpt deal. Again, I don't have a script of what I say. Just be genuinely you. See what you guys have talked about. Give me 2 seconds and I'll mute you. Sorry. Go ahead and see what you guys have talked about and then go from there. Keep the conversation flowing from what you already have talked about. That's why no scripts work for me, because there's no script to humaning, right? We all have to just talk how we were talking to them before. So if you were talking about the goals that they had, bring that back into it and be like, y'all, this Sculpt is going to help your weight loss goals if that's what you're still looking for. Or if they were looking for mental clarity, my brain has never been more awake and more clear than it is on Sculpt, like honest to God, and no sleep. And so I would talk about that. But you have to remember, like, if they're your customer, you ask them what results they're looking for, bring that into your follow-up. So go ahead and do some follow-ups. We're going to do this for probably about 5-ish minutes because, again, you can do them throughout the day. We're doing IPAs at a time, and we're time blocking, so we're not on our phone 24/7 or 3 hours in the morning, right? These are things. So make your way through your potentials list for the next 5 to 7 minutes, and then wherever you leave off, that's where you're going to pick up the next time you do IPAs today. Yes, Alex. The following was just on Instagram. Now we're doing potentials across the board. So whether they were on Instagram or Facebook, go ahead and do those follow-ups. The reason why I don't really adding into my IPAs every single second, like that I do my IPAs on Facebook, is because you build your Facebook a little bit different than Instagram, obviously. We don't want to mass add friends on Facebook because, like, they might not relate to you. So I pull my friends from groups that I'm in only if I've had conversations with them and actually started to build an actual connection and relationship. I don't go to groups just to add people, if that makes sense. But I do it that way. Or if I have friends of like a friend that I know where I've talked to before, I'll add them that way. Or if their page literally, and I'm like, wow, we need to be friends, I'll add them that way. I'm not afraid to like add people. if I know I relate to their pages, if like their fives, because a lot of times people without realizing it, and they're not even in network marketing, they have fives that are all over their walls and they don't even realize it. But because we know how to point those out because of ourselves, you're like, wow, I really relate to their fives, which is huge. So as long as you relate to their fives, go for it, or whatever they have on their page, add them. But yes, so the following was just Instagram. Go ahead and finish up the next couple messages, and then we are going to move on from there. Okay, so next thing that I want to talk about, go ahead and finish that last message that you have, or that last interaction that you have. The next thing I want to talk about while Rylan is snoozing so I can get this out, is our stories and this deal right now, or any deal that we have going on. It is super, uber important to share it, right? But you don't want to spam, and you don't want to use necessarily the stock pictures, because like I said in my last IPA that we did on Monday, was when you use stock pictures from the company, so does everybody else in the company. And if you think about it, what is setting you apart from everybody else using that picture, right? People can follow a lot of thrivers, which is amazing and great, but what's going to set you apart? So this is where me using my stories really, really comes in handy, and taking the promos and making my own pictures out of them. So right now with the Sculpt, right? So every single morning I'm showing my 3 steps with Sculpt, and I have been since I started, and I'm adding in little details of what it does. Yesterday, when the Sculpt promo for new customers rolled out, I went ahead and I used what like my Sculpt did, but I took a picture of my own Sculpt and I added, you get what I mean? Words are hard. To my Instagram like story, and then I highlighted over it. I've been highlighting my pictures for probably Christina Brill taught me how to do that. So whenever you came back, babe, is when I started highlighting my pictures. So I have been doing it since then. So when did you come back? Like August, somewhere around there.
Yeah, sorry.
And so I started editing and highlighting them that way. It's super simple, super easy. If you don't know how to highlight an entire picture, I'm going to walk you through it right now. Yes, there we go. Just because I can't show you because my hands are full. So I'm going to walk you through it. So go to your Instagram story and add a picture to it, or take a picture real quick. Then in the top right, or the top of it, go ahead and click. Yeah, if you can see Christina Brill's little square, she's showing you as I'm saying it. So you have a picture on your Instagram. On the very top where you would normally have your highlighter, go ahead and click that, and click the highlight option. The second one, there we go. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to pick a color. You can move around the screen to pick a color, or you can use the generic colors. Once you have a color that you want the highlight to be, put your finger on the screen and hold it down, and it's going to change the entire screen with that highlight color over it. So if you didn't know how to do that, that's how you do it, and that's how we all do it. And then you can just type on top of it. So for me, making promo like ads is super, super easy with this, and using it for my opportunity posts, stuff like that, because let's be real, Unfold is amazing, but it takes a little bit more time than this does. And with this new added little bundle right here in my arms, I don't really have all that added time before he starts screaming because my phone is in my hand. It's so funny that they can tell when your phone is in your hand because they don't like that. So I try and make it as quick as possible and as simple as possible, and that has been what has been a huge game changer for me. So thank you again, Christina Brill, for teaching me that. And you can go ahead and type about Sculpt on there. Type about the free Sculpt with 3-step purchase. Talk about stuff like that. Talk about what it does and why you use it. And then add arrows, you can do like your animation to make it your own, add whatever typing you normally do. And then you have an ad made, save it, and put it on Facebook story. It's something that keeps you and sets you apart from everybody else just sharing the generic email that went out. Everybody gets that email. So you need to do something that sets you apart and keeps it within your brand. I have a certain coloring that I'm doing like with my preset. If you have a preset, then so do you. I try and keep my stories within that same color scheme and color tone. So this really, really helps with that also for highlighting. So I want everybody to get a story up about Sculpt right now. Talk about how it's for new customers on the 3 steps, and they're going to get it for free. So go ahead and take about 5 minutes and make a story. You don't have to use the highlight option if you don't like it. I just wanted to teach y'all how to do that in case you were wondering. But go ahead and make one. Don't just use the generic picture. And if you are going to use the generic picture, change it up, add some arrows, add animation on it, add a highlight over it, add something that makes it different than just the normal email. So go ahead, and we're going to go for like the next 3 minutes and make a Sculpt story up there. So that way we have that up for the day. What do you do if you haven't gotten your Sculpt yet? Then what do you suggest someone does? We have pictures in the team page that you can use. I can go ahead and upload some. You can also then use the email, but change it. That's why I said if you're going to use the email, go ahead and switch it up. Add a highlight over it, add animation over it, add something like that. That's great that you talked about it yesterday or already. Perfect. So if you talked about it yesterday, that was yesterday. This is today. You got to talk about it again. Every single day, consistency. And I hate to be the tough love and say it like that, but that was yesterday. This is today. It's a new day. So what you did yesterday doesn't count for what you're doing today. So I love y'all, but it's a new day. So go ahead and get another one up. If you did it yesterday, go ahead and get another one up. That's how I also feel about opportunity posts. That's great that you did one yesterday, but this is today. What are you going to do for your business today? Perfect. If you already did one up today, then go ahead and add a non-Thrive post up. Break up your story. If you already did your Sculpt story in the morning and you're ahead of the game, go ahead and add a non-Thrive story. Break up your story. Share you and make sure that it's real. Our stories are where we can be us, real and authentic, without worrying about the picture perfect grid that Instagram gives you. So 2 more minutes to get a story up there. If you already got your Sculpt story up, then go ahead and add a non-Thrive just to break it up. And show you. I every morning post a picture of Rylan and I say good morning from Mr. Rylan Knox. And then I show my dogs and stuff like that. So I break up my story with part of my 5s. All right.
Lindsay, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you sell the presets by chance?
My preset? I just created it. I actually took one that M sent me and I redid it. Like I changed it to be my own tones. So you can create your own. I know Shay's husband, Austin, created one. And he said it was pretty simple with like the features and stuff. You can play around with Lightroom and create them, because if you like a tone of something on your pictures, just create that as a preset. Or you can go and buy them on Etsy. I think M sells some still. But you can find them everywhere. I don't sell mine though. No, sorry, because I don't know how to create it into a zip drive. Okay, 1 more minute to get some stuff up on your story, and then we're going to move along. Oh, Chloe just said Etsy has them for really cheap too. Okay, So we already did our stories pretty much for right now. Make sure that they're on Instagram and Facebook. We did some following and we did some interactions. So next, what I want you guys to do is work on a post. Now that you did some following and now that you did some interactions, it's time to post. Get that post up, pull from your fives, but not only pull from your branding fives, pull from either your product fives or your comp plan fives. The reason I say that is because those are the basic details. A lot of times we get mixed up in wanting to inspire people that we forget about the details that are so important. So yes, of course, be you, share you, and make your post, but add in simple details. Don't forget like how we don't cold message. Don't forget how we run our businesses for free. Don't forget that we earn our products for free. Stuff like that sets us apart from other companies. That yes, it's great to share and be inspirational, but what are you sharing? What is allowing you to share this? Don't forget about the company. Don't forget about the products. If you're on a weight loss journey and you want to share your pictures and you want to incorporate Sculpt into it, make sure that you're sharing about the products and at the end be like, and if you're a new customer waiting to watch this new waist diminisher or whatever you're saying about it, it's free right now. Shoot me a message. Let's get it for you. Add something simple like that to it to where you are sharing you and you're sharing about the products or you're sharing about the comp plan. And then you're also able to add in the promo that's going on. I like to switch it up. So I will do like every other day I'll post fives from my, I'll pick a fives from my products. And then the next day I'll pick a fives from the comp plan. So that's what I like to do. So go ahead and take the next 5 or 6 minutes to get a post up. Make sure it has your details in it. Make sure it has part of your fives. And if you're having troubles looking for what picture to add, I suggest pulling from your branding fives. If your picture has to do with that, then that's perfect. So making sure that you know your branding fives is huge.
What happened in the morning?
All right, so we should have a post up, and if you are still working on your post, go ahead and save it in your notes so you can come back to it and work on it after. Next, what I want to do is interact with stories on Instagram. This has been a really big game changer for me personally, only because you see so many more stories than you do actual posts on your page. But interacting with stories, you're seeing the real people. A lot of times people are afraid to like share the imperfect sides of them on their Instagram grid, but stories are a whole different or a whole different story, right? Because they go away in 24 hours. So a lot of times people are not as self-conscious about those. because it goes away. It's like Snapchat. It goes away. People will send whatever the heck they want on Snapchat because they know it goes away. It's the same with stories. It goes away. So I like to interact with stories. But again, adding value, only interacting if you feel like you have something to add to it or it's relatable to you. And again, interacting is not an emoji. Interacting is not swiping up and sending the clap hands, heart eyes, the 100 emoji, whatever else I get in a day from people trying to cold message me. That is not interacting. That is just getting into someone's inbox. That's not going to create you a relationship or a connection. What is going to is sentences. Actually sharing what you feel about it or how it relates to you or how you like it, like why. If it's a mom and you're going through the same thing, share with them that. Be relatable. Add value to what you're going into their inbox for. Don't just be like a drive-by messenger is what I call it. Don't just go in there and it's like a little drive-by where you're never going to talk to them again because it meant nothing. So what I also like to do on my Instagram is scroll all the way to the very, very end of the stories. Chances are those are the people you have not interacted with in a really long time, or that you never have interacted with. Because when you start interacting with people and you start viewing their stuff every single day, they pop to the very front of your stories, just because you told Instagram that you like them. So start from the back, scroll all the way down on your stories. If you go to the left, it'll bring you all the way to the very, very end. Start from there and start interacting. We're going to interact for, let's do like maybe 5 to 7 minutes. Because again, if you don't have anything to interact or say for that exact story, move on to the next one. Don't force it. Nothing needs to be forced. Make sure it's you, it's adding value, and it's true interactions. And try and make it at least a sentence, 4 or 5 words, not just emojis. Emojis don't count as a sentence, but you can add one in there just like, hi, because I add emojis to everything. So let's go ahead and do that for about 5 minutes-ish, and then we will move on to the next. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish those up. And then what I want us to work on, I'm going to kind of end it. Again, this is super short, super sweet, to the point, maybe not so sweet. I'm not the definition of sweet, but to the point at least. And we are going to, if you didn't finish your post, go ahead and finish that. And then let's go ahead and end this with our I am affirmations and gratitude. Because if you want something, you have to be grateful for what you already have. That is huge for me. I do those actually throughout the day. As things happen or I notice something, I will write them down in my phone. I'll write them down on a notebook that's nearby. So I try and start my day with 5 to 10, and then throughout the day I do them as they pop up in my head. I don't just kind of talk about them in my head, but I write them out so that way the universe knows I'm truly thankful for it. So let's go ahead and do those. And then if you do have some time, watch a training in the team page. I challenge my IPA chat every single day to watch a training in the team page. And if you feel like you've watched them all, watch one again. Every single time you're going to watch a training or hear a training, you're going to hear something different. You're going to pull something different out of it, only because your mindset is different every single time. And where your mindset was the first time you watched it is going to be different than when you are right now. So go ahead and rewatch a training. Also today, I want to challenge every single one of you guys to rewatch a training or use the search option in the team page and watch a new one. And if you aren't sure what to search Q&A, because you're going to find a ton, and that's going to hit a bunch of different topics that amazing leaders on our team have done from all different levels. So that's another thing I want you guys to do today. And then otherwise, I hope that you guys do at least 3 rounds of these IPAs today. Use your story and share more about you than you normally would. Get out there and show your following who you are. Show them a little bit about your 5s. The biggest question I get is how I don't have to spam or how I don't have to post a ton of things every single day. And it's because I use my stories to share me, and then I use my stories to share the products. My grid is about my 5s. So if you are unsure about your 5s, really, really narrow those down today. Go into the weekend knowing what your 5s are and sharing them, knowing what your 5 brandings are, knowing what your 5s for the products, and knowing what your 5s for your comp plan is. And then add everything into it. I still need to learn that highlight trick you did for your, oh, I already talked about that, love. So you can watch the replay. It's super, super simple. And then Christina did a walkthrough on her phone. So it's super simple, and it'll be on the replay of this that I'm going to post. So I hope you guys have a great Friday and a great weekend. And again, remember that just because you do something today doesn't mean you don't have to do it tomorrow. And just because you did it yesterday does not mean you have to do it today. So I want to see sculpt posts on everybody's story tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday when it ends. Because just because you're doing something today does not mean it counts for tomorrow. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. So every single person should have an opportunity post on their story every single day. Every single person should have products up on their story every single day, and use Instagram and Facebook stories. Don't just use one platform. You can do them on Instagram, save them, add them to Facebook. 2 birds, 1 stone, and you never know who is going to see it that wouldn't have seen it if you wouldn't have shared it on Facebook. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.